within first session, and then we will proceed for the seminars in the afternoon session. Okay, or after this class also, after 1 hour, we may also go for the seminars. So be prepared for seminars. I will call randomly to the students and be ready for seminars. So I welcome Dr. Mirza sir, and I request Dr. Mirza sir to proceed his lecture.
Thank
Dr.
you,
Mirza.
sir. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning to one and all. Yesterday's class we are continuing. Yesterday we saw about the characteristics of research and what are the bad things which we have to avoid while conducting the research activity. And finally, we have reached to a point where we were thinking of submitting our thesis. And at this stage, we have to write a report, a final draft of our research that will amount to much of the labor that we are expected to put, because the moment we finish our data collection, the moment we start analyzing it, the issue appears before our before us is that we have to write a report over it. Anyhow, whatever the study you undertake, whether the study is in the form of a research article or a research project, or it is MPhil dissertation or PhD thesis, whatever it is, the main purpose of conducting the research study is to make a draft, a research report. And here research report is in the form of thesis that is going to be submitted at the end of your study. So what could be the layout? What could be the rough estimate of our thesis? What pages we have to include, what ingredients we have to include in the body of our thesis that will make the thesis attractive. So layout of the research report means what exactly the research report should contain. And we have made the sections here. In first section, we have preliminary pages, the initial pages. At the beginning of our thesis, we attach a few pages. And what should be the content of those pages? It should be very clear in our mind. What should be the first page? The first page of our thesis should be about the title of our thesis. The title page, the title page should cover, should have the title of the thesis and in which university it is going to be submitted, who is the researcher, the name of the researcher, and if some titles he is having, if some qualifications he is having, he can add those qualifications on the title page. And next to it will have the name of the supervisor, the name of the guide. Okay. And lastly, the year of submission of the thesis should be at the bottom end of the first page. So these information should be on page 1. Title page is indicative of what is there inside the thesis. What will it include? It will include the title of the thesis, to which university it is being submitted, for which degree it is submitted, name of the researcher, name of the supervisor, and month and year of submission. What things? These things. Number 1, once again I am repeating once again, title of the thesis, university to which it is being submitted, for which degree it is being submitted, and fourthly, the name of the researcher, the name of the supervisor, research guide, And sixth point is the month and year of submission. Below the name of your supervisor, you can write his designation, his association with the institute, whether he is working in university, whether he is working in a college department, whatever is there, you can add below the name of the supervisor. So these six elements are very important for page number 1, that is called as title page. Is there any confusion about title page? Yes, participants?
No, sir.
No. Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. So these elements are of utmost importance. And followed by this first page, we will have the acknowledgements. Acknowledgements in the form of preface and foreword. So somebody write preface, somebody write foreword, or somebody write acknowledgement. What is this acknowledgement? Acknowledgement is a statement made by the researcher just to acknowledge his what we call his attitude of thankfulness to the people who have supported, who have encouraged him for conducting this study. Okay, so this part also includes certificate and even undertaking. Certificate on the part of the research student and certificate on the part of the supervisor. Supervisor will certify that this work conducted by this researcher is a genuine work and it is not being submitted to any university for any other degree prior to this. This is certificate given by the supervisor. He will mention that this research study is conducted under my supervision, and the research student has to give the undertaking that he has conducted this research under the guidance of the supervisor and he has not submitted the same to any university partially or in full form for any other or similar degree from any other university. So these three documents, one acknowledgement, another certificate, that we will call it as forward or something else. So they are to be attached after the title page. Now it is followed by the table of contents. Table of contents is the list of content that you are going to include in the body of your thesis. It may have the romanized number to page number given, acknowledgement, certificate, they will have their numbers, but they will not in the Arabic format of number, they will have Roman numbers, Roman small numbers, and the table of content should be prepared by the candidate, beginning with acknowledgement, certificate, undertaking, or declaration, whatever it is. And it will also have the list of tables, illustrations before the main body begins. So part A includes preliminary pages with the title page, with declaration, with certificate, table of content, list of tables, and even illustrations. So these 5 ingredients should be located before the main thesis begins. Now let us come towards the main text. Main text of the thesis or research report provides the complete outline of the research study with all the details. It will include title of the research study is repeated at the top of the first page of the main text. From where the chapter 1 begins, you will have once again the title of your research study that will be repeated on the top of the first page of the main text, and then it will be followed by other things, and on every page you will have consecutive numbers. The page number will not appear appear on the first page and the title page. Mind it well. The title page in the first section will not have the page number. From page number first of the main body, main text, where chapter 1 begins, you will again have the repeated title over the top. And there are so many formats of pagination, whether you take the page number in the bottom center, on the right center, or on the top left, or on the top right, or on the top center, wherever you want to take, but it is better to take the page number at the bottom center. Getting my points? Understanding the things? Participants, your response is
Yes, sir.
very important for me. If you do not understand, please tell me. We will go slow and we will stop for some time. Yes, getting the things very clearly. There is no issue.
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So
Yes, sir. Please
on
proceed.
okay, okay. On the title page, you will not be putting any page number. First thing. Second thing, on the first page of the main thesis, where chapter 1 begins, there will be no page number. But from page number 2, you will continue. That will be page number 1 is without number, but that will be page number 1. And from page number 2 consecutively, you will have to give the numbering, and that numbering will continue till the end of your report writing. Okay, and each section of the report you have to begin with a new page. It is to mention that for chapter 1, page number new page will begin, chapter 2 will begin from fresh page, chapter 3 will begin from fresh page, chapter 4 will begin from fresh page, and for every chapter you have to make use of a partition page. On that partition page, chapter number is to be given along with chapter title, and that partition page will again not have any number. Mind it well. Before the beginning of each chapter, you have to add a page. That page will be called as a partition page, and on that partition page, chapter number will be given in Roman capital, and it will be followed by the title of that respective chapter. And once it is attached, it will not have any kind of page number on it. And then the main text of the report should have the following things. Now when you start writing your report, you will have the first section, that will be introduction. Second, you have statement of findings and recommendations. Then it will be followed by results. Then fourth section will be about implications drawn from the result, and then finally you have to have this summary section. And here you can even continue with your chapter numbers here. Findings. This is just the rough statements given here. You can redefine them. You can make separate chapter. First one is introduction, that is chapter 1. Then statement of findings and recommendations, that will be your chapter 2. Chapter 3 will be, or chapter 2 will be data collection. Chapter 3 will be statement of findings, and then chapter 4 will be data analysis. Chapter 5th will be results. Chapter 6th will be implications from the results, and chapter 7th will be summary. You can change the page number. You can include some more chapters in it as well, as per the requirement of your research study. And there is part C also, that is end matter. I have given for the convenience only the nomenclature of this section as end matter, because at this point our research study comes to an end, and this is very technical things, where we have to attach appendices, where we have to include bibliography and whatever the questionnaires we have prepared for the collection of sample information. And if there is some mathematical derivations, so all things are to be attached at the end. it it must be attached at the end. Even it will include a detailed list of indices. Indices is the plural form of index. Before it, you will have the bibliography. As I told you yesterday, that bibliography is the classified list of all the sources you consulted. All the list of books must be included at the end. Before bibliography, there will be appendices. If some tables are there, charts are there, some graphs are there, from whatever source you have collected for the material that you have to add here. Some sample questionnaires are to be attached here, and some sample information or the responses of the participants are to be attached just for sampling. And I have seen somewhere in some universities in Madhya Pradesh that there are the research articles, which two articles are needed for submission of your thesis. So those articles are also attached at the end of your thesis before bibliography. This is the rough estimate of your thesis. And in bibliography, you have to make two sections. One section will be about primary sources. As I told you yesterday itself, that primary sources are the texts, are the books which are directly associated with your study, and secondary sources are reference material or research articles, magazines, journals, uh, electronic sources, whatever, they will come under secondary sources, secondary section. And it will be followed by an index. Index, I have defined here what is index. Index is an alphabetical listing of names. Some names you are making use of, some places you are introducing, even some topics you are including in it, and even with some that must be analyzed in the form of index and with page number. And it should come invariably in the end of the report. And the value of index can be seen in the fact that it works as a guide to the reader. It helps on which page you are using, you have used this number, that you have to include at the end, at the last, very last. After bibliography, index will be there. And if for referring to index, you can refer to some thesis, or even in some books, some standard books, these indices are also attached just as a reference, just as a review. You can uh, make use of it. Now, let us come towards the mechanics of writing a research report. What things are needed? Any query up to this? These sections?
No, sir.
Shall I go ahead? Shall I go ahead with your kind permission?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now
Yes, sir.
here it is all the technical details we have jumped into. Very definite set rules are there for the actual preparation of research report or research paper. Now these points which I have given here, they must be kept in mind. They are included in all the style manuals, whether you make use of MLA handbook, whether you make use of APA style. There are actually 14 to 15 styles which are being used worldwide for writing reports, for writing research report, and most prominent of them are MLA style, APA style, Chicago style. It depends on the discipline to which the research student is affiliated to. There is no hard and fast rule that this style should be used, but commonly, whatever the things are commonly recognized by all the styles, I have included those here. First thing which we have to concentrate on is of size and physical design. What should be your manuscript in form? Your manuscript should be uh, typewritten on plain page. Unruled paper means plain paper. And what should be the size of the paper? There are so many sizes available. A4, A5, A6, A8. Yeah. The more you are in need of the sizes, there are plenty of sizes available. And for research report writing, we are expected to make use of A4 page. A4 size page we have to make use of. The size I have mentioned here, 8.5 inches by 11 inches is the standard size of is the standard size of A4 page. If it is written by hand, then black and blue ink should be used. If the report is to be handwritten, which ink is to be used? Black or blue. No third ink is expected. Mind it well. We find that at postgraduate level or at undergraduate level, we find that the students do prepare some projects at the end of the final semester, and we find that their projects are well decorated by multi inks, this design, floral and leafy and all that. That is not expected for a research report. It should be written with black or blue ink, but so far as thesis is concerned, it should be electronically typed. It should not be manually typed. And the margin at least of 1.5 inches should be allowed at the left and of at least half inches on the right hand of the paper. Can some of you tell me what is the default page setting? All of us make use of word format. Yes. What is the default page setting? Can anybody tell me? Yes. Are you there, participants? Or have you left?
Yes, sir.
So what is the default page setting? Default page setting is 1 inch from four sides. 1 inch margin from left, from right, from top and from bottom. And this default setting we will not make use of. We will not disturb it except left side, because left side half-inch extra we are leaving for the purpose that it will go in binding. For that reason only 1.5 inches should be left on left side and at least half inches on the right. But it will be better if we can leave 1 inch, because for binding the bookbinder even brings it in same size. He cuts it down from left and right, from bottom and top. That is why if you leave the 1 inch margin on from three sides, that is right, top and bottom, it will be very good. The paper should be neat, very clean paper. Maybe it is bound paper. You have executive bound and all that. The manuscript should be typed as I told you. Then all typing should be double space on one side of the page only. What should be the space between two lines? It should be double space, and it should be printed on one side only. Yes, only one side is to be used. It should not be typed from both the sides. One side typing is allowed. And secondly, procedure. What is the procedure to be uh, adopted in writing the research report? There are various steps in writing report that should be adopted. All those steps we have discussed yesterday itself. So it is not necessary that we must repeat them once again. Now, third point is of layout, and their layout should be decided according to the style which we are adopting. Layout of the page should be that left, 1.5 margin on the left, and on right, top and bottom, 1 inch margin should be left. That is once again repeated here. And then how will you treat the quotations? Quotations are the same exact words spoken by somebody, and we make use of them in our body of the research report. So they are to be, quotations are to be placed in quotation marks with double spaced, forming an immediate part of the text. So quotations which we are making use of from somebody else, those quotations are to be put in double quotation marks, and a line space of double should be left between two lines. And if it is a quotation of a considerable length, more than 4 or 5 type written lines, then it should be single spaced and intended at least half an inch to the left margin of the normal text margin. What does it mean? It means that if the quotation is short, if it is only one sentence, it should be put in quotation marks and it should be the part of the text. And if the quotation is lengthy, if it goes in 3 to 4 lines, then it should be it should be indented at least half inch to the right margin, and it should be taken on one side only. Okay. Now, footnotes. Footnotes. One should keep the things in mind that footnotes are meant for cross references. Footnotes are meant for cross references and the citation of authorities and sources, acknowledgement and elucidation, explanation, and the point of view of the people. So footnotes are very important. Footnotes always provide the researcher as well as the concerned people. Sorry, just by mistake some. mm, just a minute. Wait for a second. I'm just trying to share the slide. By mistake, it has gone somewhere else. Yes. So footnotes are uh, the very important aspect of any research report, because footnotes are given at the bottom of the page, and if needed you can make use of them. Otherwise you can make use of endnotes as well. These footnotes and endnotes depend on the style of research manual which you are referring. Some research manuals recommend footnotes and some research manuals recommend endnotes. So according to your convenience, you can make use of any of the two, because footnotes, as you know, footnotes are the additional information provided regarding certain words, certain terms, certain individuals in the body of your thesis. So they are placed at the bottom of the page with reference or quotation uh, wherever you want to add, and they are having the space of half an inch and a line about 1.5 inch long. It is just drawn at the bottom of the page. 1.5 inch long line is drawn, and below it, with a small font other than the main text, it is written at the bottom. Okay, and footnote should be numbered continuously according to a chapter. Whatever the footnotes you are making use of, all the footnotes are numbered consecutively, and they will begin with Arabic number 1 in each chapter separately. Each chapter should have separate numberings. The number should be put slightly above the line. Yes, uppercase. If you make use of Word document in Microsoft, you will have two cases, uppercase and lowercase. In uppercase, you have the number written over the head of the word, and as if it is a square. Since you are the students of science, you know what is square. X square, y square, whatever you write, or y cube you write. So likewise, the numbers are to be given on the head of the word, and in down case, in lower case, you have to give the number below the word, and likewise on the top of the word, numbers are to be given, and at the end of the quotation the same number is to be used, and uh, at the footnote of the page again the same number is to be indented and typed a little above the line. So the same, in the same format of numbering, the number is to be used in the main body of the text, and in the same format, in the uppercase, it should be written in the footnote as well. It should not be changed. Footnotes, while writing the footnotes, we must keep one thing in mind, that the footnotes are typed in single space, though they are divided from one another by double spacing. So whenever one footnote ends, after one footnote you have to leave the space of double, and if the details of one footnote is being written, a space of 1 inch should be, one single should be given, and then then for consecutive two footnotes, you have to leave a double spacing. Is this clear about footnotes? Now, your documentation is time. So, regarding documentation, the first footnote reference to any given work should be complete in its documentation. It means if you are writing the first footnote, details of the footnote, every kind of detail should be given. So all the details, using even including edition number, volume number, they should be given in sequence. The common order may be given as under. What should come first and what should come next. So this should be the order. How we will write the footnote at the end of the page. The example is given here, that the author's name in normal order. The first name should not come last. This should not be there here. That thing which we are making use of in bibliography, that the last name will come first, that will be in bibliography. But so far as footnote is concerned, author's normal name should be there, and afterwards it should be the title of the work, and it should be underlined, or if it is typed, it should be written in italics. Then place and date of publication, then page numbers and page reference. One example is here, John Gassner, the normal name. Title of the book is given here. Yes, this title of the book is given here, Master of the Drama. Then place of publication, whatever is the publisher, year of publication. Then it is followed by page number. So this should be the sequence of your footnote. Now, regarding multi-volume reference, how it should be written? It should be written like this, that the author's name should come in normal order, then title of the work, and then it will be followed by place and date of publication, number of volumes, volume number should be there, or edition number should be there, and then page number should be also included. And uh, if there are encyclopedias, encyclopedias must be arranged alphabetically, as uh, we do in regard with encyclopedias and dictionary. There will be no page number given usually for the entry of encyclopedia or dictionary. Likewise, one example we have given here, this Salamanca, his dictionary, Encyclopedia Britannica, fourth edition. There is no need of given page number, and here it is one of the dictionary entry is given by Mary Wollstonecraft Godwin, Dictionary of National Biograph. No page number is to be given here, and so then it is the turn of uh, another thing, that is regarding periodicals and references. The same thing will be followed again. Name of the author in normal, the title of the article, then quotation marks. It should be in quotation mark. Title of the article should be in quotation marks, and the title of the journal or periodical should be in underlined manner, and its volume number, date of issue, then page number. Then we have another thing, that is anthology and collection for references. So quotations from anthologies and collections must be acknowledged not only by author but also by the name of the collector, who collected it, who is the writer of that anthology. Because in anthology there are collection of things, collection of poems, essays, or something. So the person who is instrumental in collecting those, his name is also to be acknowledged there. And in the next part, you have uh, second-hand quotations. Second-hand quotations, it means that the quotations are already used by somebody else, and you are again reusing them in your uh, research report. So in such cases, document should be handled as what you have to write: original author and the title. Both things you have to include. Then quoted or cited in, you have to write quoted in this book, cited in this book, and then second author and work. Who quoted it, that you have to mention. So it will be called as second hand quotation, because you are not using it as first hand author. You are reusing it. Somebody has already used it. You are just the one who are just citing it once again. Now, if there is the case of multiple authors, you find that there are some books which are written by more than one writer, more than one author. In such cases, what kind of an entry you have to take? So here is the details are given. What are what are the details? If there are more than two authors or editors, author, not only one author is there, more than two authors are there, then the documentation in the name should be written of the first author only, and it is indicated by the word et space al, et al. Et al means and others. It is in Latin terminology. ETAL is Latin terminology, which means and others. It is not possible to mention the names of all the authors in one entry. So the first author's name will appear, and then ETAL will appear, which indicates that this author and other authors have written this book. And if reference from subsequent book is being cited once, okay, if one quotation is taken from one book and from the same book you are giving another reference, then it may be indicated by the Italian verb, the Latin word IBID. IBID. IBID means from the same source. IBID means from the same source, and it should be followed by a comma and the page number. Or in the latest style, only the page number is given. Even in the latest style, people are not writing IBID. They are just writing the page number if the quotation or reference is taken from the same book subsequently. And if you are referring to single page, it should be indicated by single P full stop. Okay, P full stop and page number, what is to be given. And if there are more than one page that you are referring to, if you are referring to page number 8, 9 and 10, or page number 9 and 10 you are referring, you have to write PP. Okay, double P you have to make use of. And if there are several pages referred to continuously, the practice is to use often the page number, for example PP 190 FF. Okay, this style must be used. For example, as I have cited here, for example PP, then full stop, and it is followed by this is page number 190 FF. It means that page 90 and the following pages. Okay, page 90 and the following pages, whatever may be the further pages. And but if only one page is there, you have to write page 90, and it will be following page 90 and the following page 90 and 91. You have to write only 190 F. Finished. This is the style in which page numbers are written in the body of your research report. Now, and if there are Roman numerals are generally used to indicate the number of volumes of books. Okay, opposite, these are the Roman numerals, Roman numericals. Okay, and then the short terminology for opposite, it means opera citato. Opera citato, it means in the work cited, there is no need of giving page number here if you write opposite. Or if you write loxit, loxit means loco citato, it means in the place cited. These are the very convenient abbreviations used in the footnotes. If repeatedly you are making use of something, then you have to make use of opposite. That it means that the details of the work are already cited. And if you are making use of loxit or loco citato, it means that the thing is already cited earlier. And opposite and loxit, after the name of the writer, would suggest that the references is to work by the writer which has been cited in detail in an earlier footnote but intervened by some other references. It means that the details of a book or the author you have already cited, and afterward some another work has come for the entry, and after that entry you again go to the previous work. At such instances you have to write opposite or loxit. Okay, getting the things, participants? What is your response?
Yes, sir, getting it.
Okay, okay. Now there are some punctuation and abbreviations in footnotes. What do you make use of? If these short forms are there, abbreviations are there, abbreviation in short form, what meaning you could get if APP is written? APP is referred to appendix. Appendix. And if only C is written and full stop is given, it means circa. Circa is about a century. Then if CH is written, it is referred to as chapter. If CF is written, CF is, it means to compare. If DO is written, it means ditto. Ditto. Ditto means similar. If ED is written, ED is referred to editor or edited. EG is written, EG means, for example, if instead of writing, for example, we write in brief the abbreviation EG. If ESP is written, ESP is referred to especially. Especially. Now, now here you have ETAL. ETAL. A must be small here. A should not be capital. A should be small. Atoll. Atoll means and others. Atoll means and others. And if double F is there, double F means already flourished. IBID, just we have seen in the same place. In the same place. I them, IDEM, I them means the same. V means wide or C. V again, V full stop and comma. Now these two V's are different. This V is different and this V is different. This V with full stop is wide C SEE and V with full stop only is supra C above. And if there is libcat means library catalog. If it is MS means manuscript. If it is MSS manuscripts. If it is ND no date or not dated. If it is NO number, NO is referred for number. And if it is offset, just now we saw offset in the work cited. If it is P full stop, it means page. If it is PP, pages. If it is PASSIM, PASSIM, PASSIM means everywhere. If it is pref, it means preface. If it is ETSQ, and the following meaning if ET and SQ is, and the following. If it is trans, means translated. If it is TR only, it is translated same. If it is ILL, it is illustration. If it is infra means see below. See below. Locosit. Locosit means in the same place cited. In the same place cited. We saw it earlier. If it is VOL means VOL stands for volume. Now, so these were the short forms that a researcher is expected to keep in mind. If these things appear, what should be? It's long form. Until and unless you know this, you will be in trouble. So at least you must note them down. At least you must keep them in mind because they will be of much use for you in writing your final research report. Now, what time you must allocate? Is there any issue regarding these short forms, abbreviations? Yes, participants?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Are they clear? You can take the screenshot, or if need be, I will share it with Dr. Marathi sir. He will share with you on your group if it is needed.
Yes, sir.
No, let us come. Okay, okay, okay. I'll do that. I'll do that. Now, every research student at the time of undertaking a research is a little bit confused about how to finish the research in the given time. Okay, how to finish the research in given time is the problem of every researcher. What will you do? You have to decide. You have to decide that in what months you are dividing your report into. I have given an estimate of 3 years here because within 3 years you can submit your thesis. Within how many years? Within 3 years of time, you can submit your thesis. So first 1.5 years, sorry, one and a quarter year, 15 months. 15 months is one and a quarter year. That is 50% time you are devoting here. Where defining, limiting problem, consulting source material, and collecting information. Getting my point? For this area where you are defining the research problem, limiting it, consulting the source material, collecting information, it is the 50% of your work. It amounts to 50% of your work which you are just trying to invest in. So 1 year and 3 months time you have to devote for this first step. Okay. The second thing which comes in the way is the preparation of first draft. What you are doing? Yesterday also we discussed about it, layout, research format. 30% of the thing you are doing in the second stage. That is first draft, first writing draft. It means 80% work you are finishing here. 50% in collecting the data, information and analyzing them, and then you are writing the first draft. It means you are taking 9 months time, a year and a quarter and 9 months. Means 2 years are finishing here. Within 2 years, at the end of second year, your first draft will be ready with you. It means if you are ready with first draft, you have win the battle more than half. 80% of your work is already complete by this stage. Now 10% remains in second draft. Second draft is the revision of the first draft, where you try to include footnotes, reference material, some references, some books, whatever is left is 10% of the work, for which you are devoting 3 months time. 90% of the work is finished within 2 years and a quarter, 2 years and 3 months, and then you are writing the final draft, adding further information, revision of language, as we discussed it yesterday, language polishing and final draft. How much work is left? 5%. How much time you are devoting? 3 months time. You have to be very sure. You have to make a very watertight compartment that I will not go beyond this time. I will not go beyond 3 months time. I will not go beyond 15 months time. I will not go beyond 9 months time. And at the final stage, we will be at the typing and binding reason, proofreading included. What we are doing finally? We are getting it typed, final typing, and we are getting it proofread. No, in our society, we really do not want to get our report proofread. Proofreading clarifies, minimizes, even polishes whatever the mistakes are left in the body of the thesis. But our students, they do not go for proofreading. Proofreading is as good as re-editing your research report from an expert, no matter whatever the charges are have to bear by the researcher, because proofreading is done from an expert proofreader, a professional proofreader, and if he is assisting you, you have to pay for him. If you get the paid service, it is certain, it is sure that the research document, your research thesis, your research report will be free of any lacuna. Because writing and reading same thing again and again, we miss something. There might be some blunders. There is difference between a mistake and a blunder. Blunder is a very common and casual mistake, and blunder is a huge mistake. So some blunders are left in the body of the research report, and as a result, we find that the referee, external referee, resend the report for revising, and that becomes a very tedious work. No one will like to do it again and again. It will again take a time of 6 months or a year. So it will always be better that the research report should be evaluated in terms of language, punctuation, grammar, and all that by a professional expert. So for this, you have to devote 1.5 months or 2 months. It is almost uh, 2.5 years. Within 2.5 years' time, you are going to complete your thesis in all respect, in all form. Your thesis will be ready without any fault within the stipulated 3 years' time or earlier than that even. So this is all from my part. If you have any query, if you want to add something to it, you can. Yes. Participants, if you have any query, any issue that you did not understand,
Sir, I have one question.
yes,
Hare Krishna, sir, from Visakhapatnam.
yes, yes.
So this is as like as we are filing patent type of only, no, sir. This research, whatever we are doing.
Sorry, I did not get what you say. Can you please
actually,
repeat the question?
मैं एक्चुअली फार्मा इंडस्ट्री में काम करता हूँ सर.
Okay, okay, okay.
तो हम लोग जो पेटेंट्स वगैरह रिसर्च करके फाइलिंग करते हैं ना.
Okay, okay.
So the content which is available in the patent, the pattern, that title and inventors, like that,
Yes.
then the description, then detailed invention.
Yes.
Similar way only this way, this is also like that only, no?
No, yeah. It is as good as a patent, filing for the patent.
Yeah, because I'm already done with this type of work.
Yeah,
So just I'm ensuring.
yes. It is as good as filing for the patent, because for patent you have to submit to a different authority, and here
Yes,
the
sir.
authority is different. But
Yes,
the
sir,
way
yes,
of
sir.
working, is similar.
Okay,
The way
sir.
of
Okay.
working is similar.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you.
Okay, it's all right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Again,
Okay, it's all
anybody
right.
have a question? Okay. So I must express my gratitude towards Dr. Mirza sir for giving
you, sir.
very nice and illustrative lecture on research. So on behalf of all the participants and NES Science College Nanded, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So, dear participants, we are now move towards our hello. Yeah. Now we are switch over to the our next session, that is seminar. So if anybody has interested to give seminars, please give message in the chat box, or otherwise I will call randomly. So I am giving preference to who has interested to give the seminar firstly. Yes. Anybody?
Sir, I think no one is going to put the survey.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
no, my request is to all the participants, if at least they open their this what is that open and their what I can say apna परिचय to the introduction session, at least they can all 45 participants are there ना, वो तो कर सकते हैं क्या today?
Yeah.
Total 44 participants are there, no sir. So at least
Actually,
higher
actually I have
Sir, I will
received
start, sir, if you are,
request from
you
most
permit
of the
me.
participants that someone are not well, some has medical problems, some has another problems.
no, at least introduction, at least they will come.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Dinkar sir, Satonkar.
Hello, sir. Myself, Dinkar Tapkankar, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, if you permit me, sir, I will start my seminar.
Yeah, great.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
You may proceed, Dinkar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, just wait. I'll share my screen, sir. Before that,
Yeah.
a very good afternoon to all of you. This is Dinkar Tapkankar, and I'm very happy and very proud to be associated with the Research Center of Science College, Nanded. And I must tell you that I am the previous student of Science College also, right beginning from 11th to MSc. So it's a very happy moment for me to deliver my seminar before all intellectual persons before me, sir. So, if you, with your kind permission, sir, may I start my seminar?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm sharing my screen. Just wait. Just 2 seconds. I want to share my screen, sir. Just wait. Sorry. Just wait, sir. So just a moment, please. Sir, I have to share the screen now. Somebody can please guide me.
Sir, request to the Marathi sir to make you host so that you can share the screen.
No. I have
Okay.
allow him to share the screen.
I request you to please make me host so that I can share my screen.
Sir, now
Please.
you
No,
can.
you may directly share the screen because I have given you permission to share the screen.
Hello.
Mr. Dinkar, you are able to
Yes,
share
sir.
the screen.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Just a moment. Is it visible, sir? I guess that this is visible.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Hello.
Not yet.
Okay.
It's not visible.
Is it visible, sir, now?
No.
Just a moment. Well, I'm getting the message that I have to use some other app over here. Display over other app. What? Is it
Yeah,
visible
now
now?
visible.
This is
Yeah,
available?
now,
Yes, yes, yes.
now
Is visible.
visible.
Right. Just one. So, I guess my screen is visible to everybody. I hope
Yes,
so.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, thank you very much, Research Center, Science College, Nanded, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to present my seminar before you. The topic which I have selected for giving the seminar is the research processes. As we all of you are on one day after completion of our PhD, the moment we will submit our thesis before the expert committee. Before that, we have to go through the various processes, right beginning from the registration up to the submission of the thesis over there. So the topic which I have selected is in order to facilitate everybody and in order to know that how the processes and what are the processes to be carried out during this particular entire journey of the PhD. So the first we'll just to take a look on what exactly the research is, although we have eminent scholars have already and professors and the personals who are already delivered this topic already. But in order to define this, research is nothing but the process of gathering the information for the purpose of initiating, modifying, and terminating a particular investment or a group of investment. Now here group of investment and investment is nothing but the research process that we will follow, the topic that we have selected, and the information that we will collect throughout the entire process of data collection, processing of the data, and reach to one conclusion. This actually is there involved in this particular investment and group of investment. So there are 7 steps of the research processes involved. I'll go one by one. In short, I will take this particular. Step 1 is nothing but the defined research problem. Step 2 or second process is nothing but review of the literature. Third step is to formulate the hypothesis. Fourth step is preparing the research design. Fifth step is data collection. Sixth step is data analysis, and seventh step is nothing but interpretation and the report writing. So in short, I will go one by one, what exactly the process and what is it is expected from a research scholar during this particular steps over there. So this is just a flow chart, how these processes goes on, what exactly the interaction between the different processes happens to be there. So the step 1 is nothing but defining the research problem. Unless and until we know our journey, what exactly the destiny is there, we surely it will be a situation like a boat without the shield over there. So defining the research problem should be the first step involved over there. So there are 2 types of research problems relating to the states of the nature and relationship between the variables. Majority of the time, as the Science College Nanded Research Center is having the subject of science. So basically, our first step should be relationship between the variables, because we have to conduct so many experiments. We have to reach to the conclusion by defining the relationship between the variables. So this actually should be the first step over there. Unless and until we define any problem, we may not go further for the data analysis or to make a perfect conclusion out of our research. One should not go. So this is our first step, which is nothing but the defining of the research problem. Now, defining is not sufficient. We have to understand the problem thoroughly also. Understanding of the problem is necessary, because what the steps, what the methodology we will be going to follow in this entire work over there in the PhD work. So that is necessary that we should understand the problem thoroughly. And to understand the problem thoroughly, we should have a strong background of that particular subject. Rephrasing the same into the meaningful terms from a point of view, this is also essential, because defining the terms is not essential. Rephrasing it according to our selected problem is also important one over here. So this is about the step 1. Step 2 is review of the literature. One cannot go further without reviewing what already the work has been done on the similar topics over there. So actually, every research topic is a very detailed and it's very exhaustive topic over there. Either it will be from any arts background, commerce background, or science background, whatever, or engineering background, whatsoever it may be. But reviewing what already people have done on that particular topic and what is the perspective available in that particular sector, that one can understand by only reviewing defining the previous work that is essential to define our methodology. So that's why second step is important, to review what already have finished in this particular research area, to facilitate them to have a perfect knowledge for that. Review of the literature is most essential. If the more the literature will be reviewed, you will be more near to the problem that you have selected. So you will have a clear-cut idea by taking this particular literature review in detail. So there are various sources. Yesterday also, Dr. Kishore has conducted this very good seminar about, I mean, the good talk over there, how you can ascertain a definite problem and how can you fill the gaps which have not touched yet. So review of the literature definitely helps in that particular direction. Step 3 is nothing but to formulate the hypothesis. We know that the hypothesis is nothing but before research, the intention in his mind to appear for that particular problem or the topic that he has selected. So that is nothing but the hypothesis. So hypothesis, keeping in mind, it's a very easy thing, but to formulate it, it's very difficult. So to have that particular formulation by considering one method or any research methodology over there, what kind of approach should be there to ascertain that particular problem. So formulation of the hypothesis is important. So this should be the third step where the hypothesis is there in the mind. When the topic is decided, definitely the hypothesis is bound to consider over there. But to formulate the hypothesis, this is very important step over there. Unless and until the hypothesis will be formulated, the methods, the technique, the methodology, or any kind of scientific experimental methodology will be followed, one cannot reach up to the final conclusion in the topic over there. So this should be our third step. Step 4 is nothing but the preparing of the research design. One can design the research by considering the different methodologies formulated. Sometimes as the science students have to reach for different institutions for the further research, some equipments are, sometimes it's not possible that the research center may have, although majority of the research centers are equipped with the good equipments over there, but sometimes we have to take the help of other institutions also. So for that reason, the preparation of this particular design is necessary. So one can define what exactly the research is to be followed out, what the methodologies will be followed, what kind of readings one can take on that particular methodology. So preparation of the research design is very important. So one can have the description of the methods, experimentation, what conclusion, what is the relative relations between the variables that for the experiments which are followed over there. So one can understand only by preparing the research design. So this must be our fourth step over there. Now step 5 is nothing but the data collection. After exhaustive methodologies followed in the experiments, some data has been collected, some readings in a tabular form it's been collected over there. So that is nothing but the data collection. So one can have a conclusion only after analyzing that particular data, and analysis can be done on the basis of the very vast collection of the data over there. So in order to reach that particular problem, the data must be collected sufficiently so that the analysis of the data can be sufficiently possible over here. So for this fifth step is also important, although all steps are important over there. But data collection, in order to have an analysis of that particular data, the data collection should be necessary. Now, this data collection will be consisting of the observation, some questionnaire will be there, some interviews will be there, particularly for arts and commerce background students are there. But for science background students, there are various experiments which we need to do over there. So some can have the tabular data over there, some can have the relative data over there. So data are of various forms of the data will be possible in the respective research problem over there. So this should be the fifth step over there. Sixth step is nothing but the data analysis. If data collection is not sufficient to analyze that particular data by all respects, so there will be analysis of the data, so one can reach up to that particular point whether the hypothesis is correct or hypothesis is null hypothesis or whether the hypothesis is in negation. So to reach up to that particular point, the data analysis is necessary. One can have this particular analysis in the form of graph, chart, in the form of some calculations, in the form of some formulation. So this includes of the coding, editing, and tabulation. These are the different methods, popular methods which are followed during this particular data analysis. Now, next step is nothing but interpretation and report writing. So after this particular data analysis, the student research scholar will be in position to reach at a conclusion. So after reaching at the conclusion, whatever the methodology is followed, whatever the data collected, what is the analysis of that particular data done over there, one can interpret it in a efficient way. So interpretation is very important, because conclusion without interpretation is a vague conclusion. What I believe is that. So conclusion without interpretation is not possible. Before reaching at the conclusion, this particular data will be interpreted, and that is expected from every research scholar, that interpretation should be necessary. Now, at last procedure, whatever the interpretation, conclusion, data collection, data analysis, all that is to be written in a very formulated form. Just now, Dr. Mirza sir also have a very good guideline given to us that how the report should be written, how the thesis should be, the method to be followed for writing this particular report writing. So this report writing should be the 7th step. After report writing, the candidate will be in position to submit his thesis, to submit his conclusion over there. So one can have a solid all the data in a very efficiently written form over there. So one can have this particular report writing steps will be there. So I guess that these 7 steps will be definitely helping all of the research students, including we also, that can be adopted while reaching up to your conclusion. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. As the time is restricted for every candidate, 10 minutes has been allotted. I guess that I have followed that particular situation. So if you kind permission, may I leave, sir, now?
Thank you very much, Dinkar, for giving very nice and very brief seminar. Very nice. So if you have any difficulties, please ask. It is now time is open for discussion. Actually,
thank you, sir.
We are only permit you only 5 minutes, but you take more than 10 minutes. I think you are 12 minutes.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry because.
No problem. No problem. So thank you very much. If you have any queries regarding this seminar, please ask. Yes, anybody?
Sir, I am ready.
Okay. So thank you, Dinkar. Now I request.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Muhammad, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So please share your screen.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Now, okay.
Yes, but your screen is not visible. You share your screen.
Okay, sir. Okay, now. Okay, get me, sir. Get me, sir. I try.
Okay, no problem.
فين سكرين؟ تختار سكرين. هنا حقك في أي ملف. حقك في أي ملف. سكرين. مشي من فوق. طلع. سكرين ده. هنا حقك في أي ملف.
Mohammed,
Hi, sir.
what happens?
Sir, I don't know how share this
Yeah,
screen.
you just you are giving a seminar from your mobile, or you are joined through laptop.
Mobile.
So you just
Mobile.
tap on your mobile, and at the base there are certain options are there. Share screen is there. Share screen option is there. You just click on that share screen option.
Screen option.
Okay, after.
Start now.
After that.
After that, you select the file which you want to share.
Yeah, fine.
Okay, sir.
Talib sir, on downside there is a share icon, sir. Please click on that and click on what you want to represent.
ماشي. حقك في هذه.
Okay, now, sir, now. Okay, sir, now?
No, it is not visible.
ضغط عليه. مين ضبطك؟ بلي. Go ahead.
Sir, and now?
No, not.
Oh, okay, I am sorry. Then I try another time.
Okay. Next is Pankaj. Pankaj Hingmere. Pankaj. Pankaj.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you are co-host now, and please share your screen.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir?
Pankaj?
Yes, visible,
Pankaj?
sir?
No.
Yes, sir.
Not visible.
Okay.
Just tap on share screen.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
select the file which you want to share.
visible?
No, no. Yes. आता विजिबल झालं होतं.
Yes. Visible?
नाही 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 येऊन गेलं पुन्हा ते पंकज.
Sir, it was my screen.
तुमची होती का?
Sir, setting मध्ये जाऊन permission allow करावं लागतं sir.
हो ना, परमिशन अलाव केलेली आहे ना त्याला. पंकज इंगमिरे ऑलरेडी को होस्ट आहेत, त्यामुळे ऑल
नाही
परमिशन
सर, त्यांच्या मोबाईल मधून करावं लागते त्यांना.
त्याच्या मोबाईल मध्ये का? ओके. दुसरं कोण आहे की जे ऑलरेडी दिलेलं आहे त्यांनी असं? राधिका,
Yes, sir.
यू ट्राय.
Okay. Is it visible, sir?
No, no. अगेन संदीप पवार, सूरज, ट्राय करा कोणी जो कोणी असेल.
येस सर, ट्राय करतो.
Yeah, Suraj has.
स्क्रीन विजिबल आहे सर?
Yes, yes, yes.
ओके सर, मी स्टार्ट करतो.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you. Before starting seminar, let me introduce myself. I am Suraj Prakash Chole, and I am from Nanded, and I completed my graduation from Science College Nanded.
It is
Then
here.
Then for a post-graduation purpose, I went into School of Chemical Sciences Nanded. The topic which at present I am working as a research scholar at Department of Chemistry, NAN Science College Nanded. And the topic for seminar I have chosen is the sampling and the methods of sampling. So first of all, let us know what is sampling. The sampling, it is the process of choosing a sample of the population to study, is called as the sampling method. Means here, the sample is the group which actually takes part in the research process, and it is one of the part of population, which is the entire group which we want to draw conclusion about. And the sampling makes the research more accurate as well as economical. And it is the sampling method which actually determines the generalizability of the research findings. Means whether our research finding can we generalize it at the universal level, national level or not. It will depend upon the what kind of sampling method we choose. And the sample should represent the population in all the respects. To draw valid conclusions from your results, you have to carefully decide how you will select a sample that is representative of a group as a whole. Means whatever sample we are going to select, it should represent the population out of which we are going to select it. The next, I would like to show you the comparative study of the methods of sampling. There are two methods of sampling, the probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In case of probability sampling, it involves the random selection of sample, which allows us to make strong statistical inferences about the whole group. Whereas in case of non-probability, it involves the non-random selection. It is purely based on the convenience of a researcher or other criteria which allows us to collect the data in an easy manner. In case of probability sampling, there is a chances of uh, getting selected for each and every member. Whereas in case of non-probability sampling, the such a chances are not there. Means each and every sample or participant will not get selected. We are not sure about that. Whereas in case of probability sampling, this method is used when our population is countable or finite. Means whether we can count our population, at that only moment only we can choose the probability sampling. Whereas in case of non-probability, the population is infinite or non-countable. The probability sampling method is scientific one and the non-probability method is non-scientific. Here you may have question that why we are saying that a particular method is scientific and another one is non-scientific. Because in case of probability sampling, the researcher involvement in case of choosing sample or his personal thoughts is very less. Whereas in case of non-probability sampling, the researcher involvement is there. That's why we refer these methods as scientific and non-scientific methods. Whereas probability sampling method is mainly used in case of quantitative research, whereas the non-probability method we use often in exploratory or qualitative types of research. Each of these methods has four types. As you can see that probability has simple random sampling, stratified sampling, systematic sampling, and cluster sampling. Whereas on the other hand, non-probability involves the convenience sampling, purposive sampling, quota, and snowball sampling methods. So next, we'll move to next slide. So we are going to see few of these probability and non-probability subtypes. Out of probability subtypes, first one is simple random sampling. Here, researcher is going to choose the sample in a completely random way method. And here the chance of getting selected of sample is equal. And it is one of the easiest method for choosing a sample. And we can conduct this sampling method by using the random number generators or other techniques which are purely based on chance, such as tossing a coin, throwing a dice, or lottery method. The sampling method, which is simple one, carried is of two ways. One is sampling with replacement and another one is sampling without replacement. In case of sampling with replacement, if a element is getting selected, then it has again chance to getting selected when we verify our desired variables after a certain time. Whereas in case of sampling without replacement, the element has no such a chance of getting reselected. So as far as example concerned, you can see that if we want to select a sample of 1000 employees working in a social media marketing company, we give a number to each and every employee based on our database, and we select randomly to out of 100 numbers of that 1000 numbers, we select any 100 numbers of those sample. So this was simple random sampling method. Next one is systematic sampling. This method is just improvement of simple random sampling, but here we require complete information about the population. And this method involves certain norms and standards. Means researcher give certain norms and standards while selecting sample. And here the every member of population is listed with a number, but instead of randomly selecting those numbers, individuals are chosen at regular intervals. Means every nth participant from a complete list we are going to select after certain time interval. And this method is used when there is a large number of population is involved whenever we are going to carry out the research. And this method is mostly used by researcher belonging to humanities stream. Here, as example, all employees of company are listed in alphabetical order. From this, out of first 10 number, if we select the sixth person, then after sixth person, the every 10th person we will select here. As you can see that after 6, the 16, 26, 36, and so on. Means here you can see that every particular time interval, the sample is getting selected. And means here is some sort of sequence or norms and standards is getting followed. So next we will see the few of the subtypes of non-probability sampling. First one is convenience sampling. The name itself suggests that the researcher is going to select the sample as per its need or convenience. And here subjects who are going to readily accessible or available to the researcher, only those subjects are getting selected. For example, we can choose our classmates or friends for study as per our convenience. This is the easiest and inexpensive way to gather the initial data. But as far as its demerits concerned, it has the risk of both sampling biasness and selection biasness. From this example, it will be clear that if we are going to have research opinions about student support services in our university, then the researcher may ask his fellow students to complete survey on this topic. And this is a convenient way to gather data. But as you only survey the students taking the same classes or the students which are of your known person to you, then the sample is not representative of the all students of your university. University means here we are only dealing with the students which are familiar to us, and we are not covering the whole students of the university. Therefore, the results or findings are also not generalizable, and the results finding may also be biased one. So next method we will see is the snowball sampling. This method we also has another name which is called as chain referral sampling. And why we call it chain referral sampling? Because here in this method, the researcher completely don't know about the population, or the population is very hard or difficult to access. Uh, and this method is also sociometric in nature. Means suppose we want to know some data, then we have to search firstly, then the first person will lead us to the next one, such as this chain will create, and that's why this method is referred as chain referral sampling. And this is most useful when we are very few methods are secure list of the population, or when the population is unknowable. For example, when you are searching experiences of homelessness in your city, means people which are homeless in our city, then there is no such a particular list or data which is available. Means probability sampling isn't possible. When we meet a particular person belonging to that homelessness category, then it will lead us to next person, and in such a way we will gather data. In the yesterday only I read one article. That person was a professor of sociology, and that person tried to give information about the victims of girls or ladies which became victim of the bad incidents happened to them, or that was related to about safety issues of women. And that article, I prefer that they use the snowball sampling, because no victim will came forward and do complaints regarding uh, that particular incident. They became victim of that, and that's why they indirectly contacted them, and then gathered such a data by using snowball sampling. That article was in Lok Satta. You can also refer. Yesterday only that came. So that was of about sampling and methods of sampling from my side. So thank you for patiently listening me, and I also once again thank to Marathe sir and all the participants for patiently listening me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Suraj. Thank you very much for giving very nice seminar.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now the next participant. Yes.
Sir, I
Sandeep?
try now.
Yeah, Mohammed, please. Suraj, please stop sharing. Yes, Mohammed. Mohammed? Hello, Mohammed. Okay, I think. Who is
Yes, sir. Yes,
the?
sir. Yes, sir. I now try.
Okay,
I now
okay,
only 2 minutes.
okay.
Sure.
ايوه تطلع شير اكتب خلاص خرج
Screen. Sir, I try doing from laptop and for you. Hello, sir. Hello.
لا هو بالدرجة أنا كنت خلصت اليوم. أيوه
Mohammed?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay, sir. Now.
Okay.
Oh, error. I am sorry, sir. I not. I try going from laptop and for you, sir.
Okay, okay. So who is the next? Nikita, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
ಏನಣ್ಣ ಇದ್ಗಮ್ಮ
So my screen this है?
Yes, yes.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, all of you. Myself, Nikita Zarikar. Today, I'm giving seminar on methods of sampling. So meaning of sampling is, first of all, this is sample. Sample is a small group of members selected from a population to represent the population. So it is a subset of population. So what is a population? The population is the group from which a sample is drawn. So exact population will depend on the scope of the study. So sampling is the selection of subset of population of interest in a research study. As you can see, this is from diagram. This is the target population. From this target population, researchers select a sample. The sample is a thing which is actually practically involved in research process. So we cannot we cannot work on individuals in a population, so we can take a sample from a target population and then study on it. So there methods of sampling. There are two major sampling methods. One is a probability sampling method and non-probability sampling method. Probability sampling method is work on a finite population and which is accountable, and non-probability sampling method is work on a infinite population which is uncountable. So probability sampling method has a 4 types: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. So simple random sampling. Simple random sampling is a type of probability sampling in which the researchers randomly selects a subset of participants from a population. So in this, each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Second one is a systematic sampling. Systematic sampling is a probability sampling method where researchers select members of the population at a regular interval. For example, we select a person from a population, every third person will be selected from the population. So in systematic sampling, there is a rules, regulations are followed for selection of samples. So this is a systematic sampling. Stratified sampling. Researchers divide subjects into a subgroups called strata or layers based on characteristics that they share. And fourth one is a cluster sampling. In cluster sampling is a probability sampling methods in which you divide a population into clusters such as districts or schools and then randomly select some of these clusters as your sample. So this is all about probability sampling. Now we move towards the non-probability sampling. There are also 4 types. One is a convenience sampling, second judgment sampling, third one is quota sampling, and fourth snowball sampling. Convenience sampling is a sampling where researchers select a samples according to their convenience. So this is a convenience sampling. So judgment sampling is judgmental sampling, also called a purposive sampling or a authoritative sampling, in which the sample members are chosen only on the basis of the researcher's knowledge and judgment. So quota sampling. Quota sampling, it relies on the non-random selection of predetermined number of portion of units. In quota sampling, the sample size is already decided. Fourth one is a snowball sampling, in which the samples have a rare traits. There is a unknown population. There is a we don't know about a population in snowball sampling. This is all about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nikita.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think Mohammed Taleb. Mohammed, your screen is visible now.
Hello, sir. Okay now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. My name is Muhammad Ayat Talib, Certificate Mathematics PhD coursework, Science College. And the title of my seminar, Research Proposal, and it is element. Research proposal is also called research synopsis. Research synopsis is an outline of proposed work. Research proposal serves as a useful basis for the evaluation of the project as well as a guideline for the researcher. This proposal or synopsis is placed before the research committee to examine its work. The final approval given by committee is like a blueprint of research project. the preparation of research of research proposal or synopsis is an important step in the research project. Element of research proposal: the statement of the problem, the review of related literature, the hypothesis and objective of research work, the methodology and procedure of the study, the significance of the problem, definition, assumption, and the limitation, structure of the report, and the publication. Then the statement of the problem is the important element in research process, and also it is a first step of research. Therefore, statement of the problem is always written in specific and clear cut word. The review of related literature. The effective research is based on past knowledge. Therefore, it is necessary to study reviewed research related literature. It help to formulation of hypothesis, and also help to decide the methodology of the study. The hypothesis and objective. A scientific study of research is based on objective and the hypothesis. And the objective of research indicate the direction of the research, and also the hypothesis indicate the expected outcome of the investigation research. The methodology and procedure of the study. Methodology and the procedure of the study is heart of research proposal. It outlines the entire research plan with synopsis, method, sample and data tools, and also statistical analysis. The significance of the problem. Significance of the problem is important element of research, and it is a topic of the research study. It point out the answer or the solution to the problem. Definition, assumption, and limitation. A research study include several scientific terms and variable which play different role in the investigation of research. This term and variable should convey the specific meaning of research. Structure of the report. Structure of the report may be introductory framework the contain problem topic, and also a review of literature, and the hypothesis and objective, methodology and procedure, collection of data, analysis of data, and also conclusion of the study. The last bibliography. It is a last element of the proposal or synopsis, and bibliography provide the list of references. And thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed.
Okay,
thank
so
you
welcome,
very
sir.
much.
Okay.
Then who is next?
Sir, myself, Duta SG.
Yeah, Duta Sarika. Mohammed, please stop sharing. Yeah, thank you. Sarika,
Yes, sir.
please share your screen.
Is it visible now, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Myself, Duta SG. I was completed my MSc from Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and BEd and MPhil from SRT MUM. The topic of my seminar is measures of central tendency. There are 5 measures of central tendency. First one, measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, measures of asymmetry, which is also known as skewness, measures of relationship, and other measurements, just like a index number, etc. Here, firstly, my topic of seminar is measures of central tendency. Why it is necessity, we will see. Suppose we are present inside the university and we are performing the data collection for PG student. Suppose 8,000 students are enrolled into the university, and I want to select the sample for my study. Then what happens at that place? if you are selecting the sample properly, then results will be comes properly. Otherwise, what happens if you randomly select the sample, then it will affect on the result. And after collection that sample, we are performing some analysis on that sample, and therefore there is the requirement of measures of central tendency. Inside this measures of central tendency, here, firstly, we will see what is the basic concepts related to central tendency. That means what is meant by central tendency. Let us consider one more example. Suppose you are a teacher and someone is asking you, what is the result of your last semester? Then you are not able to say that this much student obtained this much percentage, this much student obtained this much percentage. You are not able to say that. You want to state a single value in which all 60 students' result will be displayed. Understood? One single value is required to display the total 60 student result. And that single value of that result is known as the central tendency. म्हणजे आपल्या क्लासमध्ये सपोज 60 स्टुडंट्स प्रेझेंट आहेत आणि त्यांचा जर डाटा आपल्याला एका सिंगल व्हॅल्यू मध्ये रिप्रेझेंट करायचा असेल की माझ्या क्लासचा रिझल्ट लास्ट सेमिस्टरला काय लागला, तर याच्यासाठी आपण सेंट्रल टेंडन्सी ही कन्सेप्ट बघतो. अँड देअरफॉर द डेफिनेशन ऑफ सेंट्रल टेंडन्सी, इट इज single value which is used to represent the entire set of data. That means entire set of data, there is the data of 60 students along with you, and you want to state that data in a single value that is known as the central tendency. If I plot that data, then just like this diagrammatic representation will be observed, and whatever this line is given, this line is known as this value is known as the central tendency. The another definition for central tendency, the point about which most of the value cluster. That means whatever the data is along with you about the 60 students, most of the students are having the marks in between these central values. Most of the students are having the marks in between these central values, and therefore here it is the point about which most of the values are clustered. Therefore, there are two definitions of central tendency: a single values which is used to represent the entire set of data, and the another definition, it is the point at which all the values or all the data it is getting clustered. That is known as the central tendency. Then what are the measures of central tendency which is required for the sampling analysis? When we collect the data in three different ways, that is individual series, discrete series, and continuous series. In case of individual series, we are taking all the 60 students and taking one by one marks of these 60 students, just like 47, 47, 47, each and every student. That data is considered as individual series. And what is discrete series? Instead of writing one type of marks 3 times, here whatever given here 47, 47, 47, the 3 times these marks are coming, and we are going to not repeat these 3 marks. We are here indicating these 47s for 3 times. This is known as the discrete series. And continuous series, in case of continuous series, we are going to count the number of the students which are coming in between the marks 0 to 10 or 10 to 20. How many students are there? When we are represent data in that manner from 0 to 10, 11 to 20 in certain class interval, then that is known as the continuous series. Thus, when we collect the data for measuring the central tendencies, it is collected in 3 ways: individual series, discrete series, and continuous series. Which are the measures of central tendency? There are 5 measures of central tendency: mean, median, mode, harmonic mean, and geometric mean. Out of that one, here we are going to discuss mean, median, and mode. What is mean? Whatever the example is given at the start, the result in single value, that will be nothing but the average, and that average is known as the mean. The mean is nothing but the arithmetical average. And how it is calculated? All the 60 students, it is calculated with the formula. It is denoted by x bar, and x bar is equals to, here whatever the sign is given, that is nothing but the summation of x divided by n, where summation of x is number of marks x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 up to xn. Sometimes that n should be 60 for our example. Okay, this is the formula x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus up to xn divided by n. Here, one more example is given. I want to state how much rainfall in last 5 years in one single value. Then here the example, in 2001, 150 centimeter rainfall is there. In 2002, 140. In 2003, it is 130. In 2004, it is 120. And 2005, it is 105. Then I will calculate the mean for this one for a single value. X is equals to summation of all these rainfalls for each and every year, 150 plus 140 plus 130 plus 120 plus 105 divided by 5. And the answer is 120. That means overall in 5 years, 129 centimeter rainfall is observed. We are able to state that 129 centimeter rainfall is observed for last 5 years. This single value is known as the central measure of tendency. This is about mean. This, whatever the slide which is representing, that data is given year wise, and therefore this is single data, then or individual data. Then this is one of the example of discrete series. Here the number of employees are given and the salary per day of that employees is given here. 120 for 5. There are 5 employees which are having 120 salaries. And to calculate the arithmetic mean of this one, here the formula is summation of fx divided by summation of f. Here, whatever done here, as x column is here, 120 into 5, that is nothing but the fx. 120 into 5 is equals to 600. And here I am taking the summation of all fx, 6046. And in case of number of employees, that should be counted, and the number of employees are nothing but the 40. And the mean salary for these employees, it is calculated summation of fx divided by summation of f. From this chart, we are able to calculate here 6046 is nothing but the summation of fx, and summation of f, that means number of total employees, that is 6040 divided by 40. That means 151 is a single value. That means 151 is the salary for each person it is considered as. This is about the discrete data. When the discrete data is available, frequencies are given. The salary is given as well as its frequency. How frequently that salary occurs, that is given. That is the difference between individual data and discrete data. Then the last one is continuous series or continuous data. Suppose 5 employees are there which are having the salary for per day in 100 rupees to 110. The meaning of this chart is this one. The 5 persons are having salaries in between 100 rupees to 110. Here no any particular value is given for the salary. Then how the mean is calculated for this one? Then in this case, what is done? Here our class interval is given. किती employees आहेत हे दिलेलं आहे इथं. How many employees are there? That is given. 5 employees are having in between 100 to 110. Then I am taking the mid value for this class interval because particular salary is not given for the per day. And therefore 100 and 110, the mean value for this 100 or midpoint for this is nothing but the 105. And therefore that midpoint should be taken for each class interval when this type of series is given. Then here the formula is used again, same formula, summation of fx divided by summation of f. Summation of f is nothing but the 2190 divided by number of persons are 20 there, and therefore 109.5 is a single value for this total data. This is about calculation of mean for individual series, discrete series, and continuous series. Then next one is nothing but the median. Median, it is defined as the middle value. Suppose some data is available with us. I am going to sort that data with ascending order, whatever the data. So let us consider one of the example here. Here one example is given. This is the data 12, 25, 3, 75. This data is available. Firstly, to calculate the median, what I do? Firstly, that arrange that data in ascending order, 3, 12, 25. And whatever the middle term is there, then that term is considered as median. But in this case, there are two possibilities. If the data is odd one, then you will find out the middle term, because if 7 numbers are there, here 3, 12, 25, total value 7. And therefore, in this case, n plus 2th value, n plus 1 2th value is the median, where n is 7 here. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are the 7 n here, and therefore fourth value is the middle value, and therefore the fourth value is nothing but this 26, and therefore this 26 is the median for this data, and therefore median is defined as the central or middle value when data it is arranged in the ascending order. आता इथं 7 नंबर ऑफ व्हॅल्यूज आहेत, पण जर समजा 6च असतील तर त्या केसेसमध्ये 2 मधल्या टर्म्स येतात. आता समजा 6च नंबर्स असतील, लेट अस कन्सिडर दिस एक्झाम्पल. सेम डाटा इज टेकन 3, 12, 25, इथं 6 टर्म्स आहेत. तर या 6 टर्म मध्ये 25 आणि 37 ह्या ज्या 2 टर्म्स आहेत, या 2 टर्म्स काय होतात, मिडलला येतात. मग ह्या दोघांचं जे ऍव्हरेज असेल तिथं हे ते मीडियन असतं. दॅट इज नथिंग बट द middle values are 25 and 37, and the median is 31. In this way, we are able to calculate the second central tendency of measurement, that is median. And the last one is mode. The
Sarika.
number which is...
Sarika.
Sir. Okay, sir.
Please conclude. Our guest is waiting.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Last slide is okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Sarika, for giving very nice and explanatory seminar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am so much thankful because you given me the opportunity to speak about the seminar. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So, Sarika, please stop sharing your screen. Sarika, ma'am. Stop sharing. Hello.
Sir, I am not able to find it for the option.
Actually, जिथं share screen होता option, तिथंच stop sharing.
Okay, तिथंच आहे का? There is the option of sharing.
नाही, टॅप करा ना मोबाईल वर असेल तर.
नाही, मोबाईल वर नाही, लॅपटॉप वरती.
लॅपटॉप वर खाली स्क्रीन वरती आहे ना शेअर स्क्रीन.
न्यू शेअर म्हणून आलंय सर तिथं.
न्यू शेअर नहीं, स्टॉप शेअर असेल कुठेतरी.
ओके, आई विल लीव द मीटिंग.
आप मीटिंग लीव करके फिर से ऐड हो जाइए तो वो हो जाएगा.
ओके, आई विल लीव द मीटिंग.
Okay, thank you. So, dear participants, our new guest for today's session is waiting for his lecture. So, I welcome Dr. Umesh Kanerkar sir. Dr. Umesh Kanerkar sir is presently working as assistant professor in botany, GS Tompe Arts, Commerce and Science College, Chandur Bazar, District Amravati. He has also served for our institute as an assistant professor in herbal medicine for near about 4 years at our NES Science College, Nanded. So I welcome Dr. Umesh Kanerkar sir on behalf of all the participants and on behalf of Research Committee, Science College, Nanded. He has a very active role in teaching. He has near about 15 years of teaching experience and 15 years of research experience. He has published 11 research papers in the journals of national and international repute, particularly in Scopus and elsewhere. He has attended near about more than 20 conferences, national seminars and workshops. Then he has presented 14 research papers in different conferences, national and international conferences. He has published 1 book, and he has attended 2 conferences abroad. He has given various invited talks in various seminars or as a guest lecture in for the college students and so on. He is a member of life member of Amravati Garden Club. He is also life member of Indian Association of Angiosperm Taxonomy, Calicut, Kerala. Life member of Maharashtra Pakshimitra Amravati. and he is also executive member of Amravati Garden Club and also executive member of Warsaw, the Ethnic Knowledge Heritage Society. So I welcome Dr. Umesh Kanerkar for this today's session. On behalf of all the participants, I welcome Dr. Umesh sir. He is my best friend. I welcome you, Umesh. Now I request Dr. Umesh to continue his lecture. Dr. Umesh sir.
Thank you, Vishal sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. Thanks for such a nice introduction of mine. And I think it is a great opportunity to talk with new researchers. I'm very much excited. So just we are going to talk about the research, and the name is research. So what to search? Huh? If it is already searched, then what we are going to search? So it is a bit something complex terminology, I think. Maybe all of you are able to hear me, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So meanwhile, I am going to communicate with you. So please respond to me. Anyways, good afternoon to all. And I must say, just fasten your seatbelt that we are going in the to discover or not discover, to understand what is research, what is its purpose, then its nature, and what are the different scope of research. And lastly, I just few slides I have added, which tells us about how to do the research. So here I am going to share my presentation. Let me share my presentation. Yes, it is there. I think all of you now able to see my presentation.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is the topic of today's talk: research, purpose, nature, and scope. Is it still shared? No problem, no? Vishal sir?
Yeah.
Is it still shared?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So
you just
let's
scroll down so that the slides are moving or not. You just check.
I think it is moving.
No, you just go for next slide.
Okay, okay. It is always sometimes difficult to tackle with these technicalities. If they are going smoothly, then it's okay. If they are not going smoothly, then they have to face the problems. Sharing, the message is there. Sharing is was. What is it?
Don't know exactly.
One minute.
You just stop sharing and again share it.
Now is it shared?
No, actually, yeah. It is moved.
Moving, no? Okay. Okay. Once again, good afternoon. And first, we will talk about what is research. Many of us know about what is research, but let me ask few of you can answer what is research. I'm not precise that you will give the bookie's definition or anything, whatever you want about to tell me about research. Apart, as per your view, can anyone tell me what is research?
Investigation.
Investigation, very good.
Searching new things.
Searching new things. That's it.
Finding solution to problem.
Solution to problem. That's a very, very good answer. Anyone?
New established from the existing information, sir.
Okay. Anyone more? Last one.
Invention.
Invention. Okay. So finally we came to that point, invention. So simply in terms of research, or when we find the definition of the research in the books, it is a process by which one acquire dependable and useful information about a phenomena or a process. Actually, as we have started this topic research, then I have quoted that what to search. It is research. It doesn't mean it is not there, but we are identifying it, or the people may not know it. So we can one more time broadly define it as a systematic inquiry towards understanding a complex social phenomena or a process. Are you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
And simply, as some of you told me about what is research, and all this process, it follows the scientific approach to gain the knowledge. Means whatever we are doing from that search or research, we are gaining the knowledge. And the most important characteristic of this approach in its thrust on objectivity. Now, to what extent is the research using scientific approach is useful in studying the problem of society? How can we acquire one minute? Pardon me for disturbance. So simply as sorry for the inconvenience caused by me. At the same time, it is Sunday and some works are going on meanwhile. We are at that whatever research we are doing, the approach, that is scientific approach, whether it is useful in studying the problem of society, or how can we acquire reliable knowledge about the various aspects of human experience. So simply, research is the organized and systematic method of finding answer to the question. So the best example of questions. So tell me about who asks more questions. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
So who asks more questions?
Children's.
Children. So I think children are the best researcher, because they want to know all the things, because the things they are new to them, and they always want to know why this is happening, what is like that. And sometimes we may get fed up with their questions. So please stop now, and we stop them. But we never stop the children. We must take some motivation from them, how they are curious. So research is the search for new knowledge, and it is distinct from routine application of known research. The re in the research is the misnomer. Misnomer in that sense, it is incorrect terminology. But still, all of us, we call it as a research. When you perform research, your goal is to add to human knowledge by discovering, inventing, or creating what was previously unknown. So, as we have already said, the most important characteristic of this approach is trust on objectivity. Whether the research they are solving the problem of the society, how can we acquire reliable knowledge about the various aspects of human experience, and to be more specific, how can the scientific approach be of value in understanding social phenomena. Nowadays there is more concentration on this thing, that is how we can address, or how can we solve the social problems with the help of research. uh, Coming to the next point, that is how can we differentiate between the research and the scientific research. So research in a broader sense, if we have to define the research, then we can say when we observe certain objects or phenomena, we are often unaware of our biases. We always have some assumptions about it, and nowadays also whenever many things comes to in front of us, we always think about it by keeping a bias in our mind, in our heart, and we do not question them, and so we attribute our observation entirely to the objects or phenomena being observed. Now, what happened in this process? It is possible to arrive at a right decision on the basis of wrong reasons or vice versa. Now, this question, the process of observation, was the observation error free when we keep a bias in our mind? Tell me. Whatever observation, as we have just taken the example of the children, that they are questioning, but they don't have any bias in their mind. They ask the question apart from their we can simply say out of their curiosity, and there is no bias. But when doing research, we must be bias free. So the observation should be error free. Now, every method of moving has certain limitation. While observing, are we aware of our limitations? Whenever we observe, are we aware of our limitations? That should also we must know. Then any study to create new knowledge or aim to increase existing fund of knowledge, may be through observation or by some other method. It is called as research if it takes into account the biases, the errors, and limitation. As such, research may be described as systematic and critical investigation of phenomena toward increasing the stream of knowledge. So I think this sentence, whoever quoted this sentence, this is actually giving the gist of the research. As what we are saying, that research may be described as systematic and critical investigation of phenomena toward increasing the stream of knowledge, as we also call it as a gaining of knowledge. Now, research also offers us opportunity for all development professionals to make differences in their practice. There is no doubt about the fact that development professional will be more effective practitioner guided by finding of research. Research deal with those methods and issues which are useful in evaluating program and the practices. Now, coming to the next aspect of the research, that is scientific research. So we are categorizing the research into whether the research as a whole we can take, or whether prefix the research by fixing a word, that is scientific research. So science aims at description, then explanation and understanding of various objects or phenomena in nature. So research is a special endeavor when it comes to the scientific research. It involves systematic and critical investigation toward increasing the stream of knowledge. Now it is easier to define scientific research. We may define scientific research as systematic and critical investigation about the natural phenomena to describe, explain, and finally to understand the relations among them. Here I want to give you some exercise that you can complete it whenever you get the time. Think and try to find out differences between the overall meaning of research in a broader sense and how the scientific research is something different from the research. Now let's move towards the conceptual foundation of the scientific research. So we must, whenever we the terminology come to our mind, that is conceptual foundation, we must be aware about some of the facts and the theory. So what are the facts and theory while doing the research? So social sciences primary deal with human being. Are you anyone there from social science field? Anyone is there from social science field?
No, sir.
No, all are from science.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so okay, we are more focusing on the science then. So social science primarily deal with human behavior, which is by and large complex and dynamic in nature. So one cannot therefore investigate under guided conditions as in natural and physical sciences. So as we are the student of science, we are always there to investigate and we are having some guided conditions. So as a result, this creates many problems to the researchers, such as the problem of subjectivity and individualistic generalization, etc., etc. Then scientific research starts with facts and then moves towards theorizing. So to be useful, facts must be organized. So as it was said, facts must be organized, and the facts as they are organized, and the primary purpose of the scientific method is to develop a mechanism of organizing the facts as they accumulate and become meaningful from the standpoint of their objective. Through empirical investigation, scientists gather many facts. As these facts accumulate, there is a need for integration, then organization and classification in order to make the isolated findings meaningful. So whatever we are doing or whatever observations we are making, so there must be a meaning or it will, in a sense, it should tell us about something. When isolated facts are put in perspective by integrating them into a conceptual scheme which promote greater understanding, we approach the domain of science. So all these things should be in our mind while doing the research. So as we are saying that the isolated facts, so when we talk about the isolated facts, they are integrated into conceptual scheme which promote a better understanding of their nature and significance. Then it is clear that the facts have been already put in proper scientific perspective. Now we must find some relationship between these. So some significant relationship in the data must be identified and explained. Actually, whatever research was done, it will always give us a data, and we have to interpret that data. So the identification of that data is important, and to explain it, we must have to interpret that data. Now, in another words, theories must be formulated. Theory, as we have talked about the facts, now we will talk about the theory. So what is a theory? So they are the formulations. Some of the formulations are always there, and when this theory came to us, we can call them as or define them as a set of interrelated constructs or the concept, definitions, and prepositions that present a systematic view of a phenomena by specifying relation among variables with the purpose of predicting and explaining the phenomena. That is about the theory. So that is a clear cut, we can say a clear cut difference between the facts and theories. I think somehow from known to unknown. Very good. Some chats are coming there. Okay. Now, though we are separating the facts and theories, but theory knit together the result of observation, enabling scientists to make general statements about variables and relationship among variables. As we are the students of science, we can take just example of Boyle's law. Boyle's law, we know the Boyle's law. It is a familiar generalization which summarizes about the observed effect of changes in temperature on the volumes of all gases. And it was generalized by one of the statement that when pressure is held constant, as the temperature of a gas increases, its volume is increased, and as the temperature of a gas is decreased, its volume is decreased. We all know this thing because as a student of science, we have also studied this Boyle's law. So this statement of theory not only summarizes previous information, but also predicts other phenomena by telling us what to expect of any gas under any change in temperature. So we can predict whenever we increase the temperature, what will happen, and whenever we decrease the temperature, what will happen. Now, just as fact underlines theory, theories underline the fact. So each raising the other like a spiral to an increasingly precise scientific formulation. So facts derive their significance from theoretical framework into which they bring facts into focus. So one more thing about these fact and theories, which was studied by Van Dalen. He have given one sentence about the fact and theories, that there is a constant and intricate relationship between the fact and theory. Facts without theory or theory without fact lack significance. Fact take their significance from the theories which define, classify, and predict them, while theories possess significance when they are built upon, then classified and tested by the facts. Because unless and until we do not test the theories on some facts, it is of no relevance. Thus, the growth of science is dependent upon the accumulation of facts and the formulation of new or broader theories. Now, this is particularly true in the early stages of scientific development, since in its early stages, research must confine its efforts to seeking answers to highly specific and particularized problems. As we have taken this example, that why the children ask the question, because whenever the new things comes in front of us, they want to know it. And a researcher is also like to that of the children, that he must ask the question. So that is in the early stages. So in latter stages, it tend to strive toward unity by breaking down the very barriers that has made its earlier progress possible. Now, scientific theories attempt to organize the tiny, rigorously defined bits of knowledge into a more meaningful and realistic structure. This is precisely function of the theory. I think you may now all of you may aware that what is fact and what is theory. I have tried to explain it to some extent. Then we coming to the what is difference between the hypothesis and theory. So whenever we start to do the research, we always take some assumptions in our mind, or we said hypothesis. So a hypothesis, when accepted, explain small number of facts and the relationship between them. Generalization, as the term denotes, is a hypothesis based on broader phenomena. Theory explains even more facts and their interrelations. Theories themselves range from the simple to the more sophisticated. Finally, there are laws which have the greatest scope and generality. So, in spite of the strong case that has been made for the role of theory in research, it will be appreciated that a theory has to be amended or abandoned when the discovery of new fact can no longer accommodate it. So, simply, whenever we do the research, we must not be about what is new is new things are find out by anyone researcher, whether it is accommodative or not. We should be very precise about that. Alternately, it may be some subsum by a wider, more embracing theory when it is realized that the situation which is contained by the theory is one instance of a more general case. Now, whatever theories are there, as we have just took up that question, what is the difference between the facts and theories? And now we are checking whether there is a difference between the hypothesis and theories. So, theories generated by the means that we have indicated do not lead to eternal truth, because it is theory. It is not telling us about, we have to check the theory on the basis of fact. Rather, it is not telling us about the eternal truth. Rather, they should be looked upon as usual conceptual framework which are adequate for present purpose or given situation. Thus, every theory is subject to modification as and when we get new facts and evidence that contradict the generalization made earlier on. By saying this, a question definitely come in our mind that then what is the purpose of the theory? When we are testing fact, theory, then hypothesis, then what is the purpose? Because as we are saying that the theory is somewhat lacking something. So there are several purposes to be served by a theory in the development of science. We shall briefly consider three of them here. So the three of them here is, first, theory summarizes and puts in order the existing knowledge in a particular area. It permits deeper understanding of data and translate empirical findings into a more easily retainable and adaptable form. The theory of oxidation, if we take the example for instance, places into focus many of the chemical reactions common to everyday life. And normally we do not compare it, or many things come to our day-to-day life, but we do not take it on our table and try to dissect it. So secondly, theory provides a provisional explanation for observed events and relationship. It identifies the variables that are related and the nature of their relationship. So a theory of learning, for example, could explain the relationship between the speed and efficiency of learning and such other variables as motivation, reward, and practice. So lastly, the third one, that is the theory permits the prediction of the occurrence of phenomena and enables the investigator to postulate and eventually to discover hitherto. Now, hitherto means up till now, whatever the works are happened there, or whatever. 1 minute, let me check the chat. Finding from known to unknown. Okay. Some more charts are there. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, I am going to search for the chart. Very good. So at the time, if we can take a few of you maybe from the chemistry. So when we are finding the term hitherto, that whatever research or whatever investigations are there up till now, we can take the example of periodic table. When it is being completed, for instance, certain gaps were noted in the sequence of the element. Since theory provides that there should have been no gaps, because theory tells us about all the things. Then scientists were spurred on to look for the other missing elements, and by combining all the things, the periodic table it completed. Now in time, these were found anticipated by theory. Theory therefore stimulates the development of new knowledge by providing the lead for further inquiry. So that is theory. Now, one more question should come in our mind, that how to develop a theory. We now, I think you are aware about what is the purpose of theory. Now, we must also aware, or we must know how to develop the theory. So, it is important to stress that good theories are not born out of imagination. They do not originate merely through armchair reflection. A theory is built upon collected facts. So, as we have started from the facts, then theory, then the hypothesis, then now we are coming to the understanding that how all these things they are important. So the theory is built upon the collected facts. The investigator then searches, makes intelligent guesses as to how the facts are ordered, then adds missing ideas or links and puts forward a hypothesis, then deduces what consequence should follow from the hypothesis, and looks for further facts which are consistent or otherwise with the deductions, which build a wider generalization or conceptual framework, or one more fact, and eventually outlines a theory. So theories are solidly based on evidence. So unless and until we are not getting a evidence, as we say, what is research? It is to search for the evidence. So whatever we are saying, there must be evidence for that. That is also the definition we always give for the science. What is science? So it is always the search for the evidences. Though, and they are important practical tools which enable us to advance our knowledge still further. So once a theoretical framework has been elaborated, we know what facts to look for to confirm or to deny the theory. If all the facts are, we can simply say it were supporting our theory, then it's okay. But if it is not supporting, or whatever work we are doing, if it is not supporting, we must deny the theory. Also, we have a conceptual framework inside with which our evidence can be tested. So theories always involve terms that refer to matters that cannot be directly observed, because it is theory, we cannot observe it directly. For example, we can take a very good example, or we can take gravity. We know the gravity is there. Gravity itself cannot be directly observed, but though the effect of gravity can be observed. Gravity and gravitation are both the theoretical terms. The term of a theory or theoretical statement are sometimes referred to as the constructs. Thus, many theories of learning refer to a motivational facts in behavior. Now, motivation is not directly observable. So, if we can say how we can tell us about someone that this is the motivation, we cannot tell. It is inbuilt, and we are expressing after getting motivated. The motivation is expressed in our activities. So it is theoretical term. or we may refer to it as a construct. The term implies that it is a construction of scientist imagination. So simply we can say that whatever the terminologies are getting there, few of the terminologies we cannot always give evidences for that. So it is about the imagination and how we are, or as a researcher, we are putting the whatever observations we are going through, and we are putting these observations towards the in front of the society. So here I think we must take one more exercise, that all of you note down that you have to describe the role of theory in the scientific research. I'm once again repeating that you must able to describe the role of theory in the scientific research. Then we will come to the as a student of science, as a researcher of science, the scientific approach. I think there is some problem in the slide. Okay, let it be. We are meanwhile we will define. No problem. Okay. Oh, it is becoming worse. Okay, now it's okay. Scientific approach. So it is obvious that it would be impossible to comprehend the nature and content of research without an appreciation of a method. We must appreciate a method. The method used in scientific research is usually designated as scientific method. Scientific method consists of three basic steps. First one is the systematic observation, classification, and interpretation of data. Through these steps, scientific method bring about not only verifiability of the facts, but also it lays the confidence in the validity of conclusion. I think the definition requires some more explanation. That scientific method is systematic observation, means the scientific investigation is not ordered. It aims only at discovering facts as they actually are, not as they are desired to be, and as such the investigators can have critical confidence in their conclusion. Secondly, the scientific method is concerned with classes of objects, not individual objects. So especially university and the its predictability. The method makes it possible to predict about a phenomena with sufficient accuracy. So that is the second one. Then we are coming towards the next approach of our talk, that is classification of research. How we are going to classify our research. So though each research study has its own specific purpose, we can classify research studies by its purposes into following categories. So some of the categories are here. That is, first one is the exploratory or the formulative research. So what exploratory or formulative research tells us about that? It involves studies with a purpose of gaining familiarity with a phenomena or to achieve new insight into it, often in order to formulate a more precise research problem or to develop hypothesis. As we have talk about many things about the hypothesis, they are known as exploratory or the formulative research study. Then it comes about the descriptive research. Now the research studies which are intended to portray accurately the characteristic of a particular situation or a group or individual are termed as descriptive research. The chief purpose of such research or the descriptive research is to describe reality. Descriptive researches, for example, we can take, they might deal with such question as what are people's attitude toward development. We can take, it is simply the descriptive question or type of descriptive research because people's attitude are different, because peoples are different. All the minds, they are thinking differently. So there, at that time, we may find different attitudes towards the development. Then another example, can we take that what is the extent of child labor? So these are some of the issues we encounter day to day. So what is the extent of child labor? So that can be also described. Or how many people avail the services of primary health center? So all these things, they can be come under the descriptive research. Then another one is the diagnostic research. Somebody just think, let me check. Nothing in there, nothing there. Okay, let it be. Then another one is the diagnostic research. So diagnostic studies, as the name telling us, it is diagnostic. They are concerned with determining the frequency with which something occurs, or with which it is associated with something else. So it is always telling us about the diagnostics of that thing. That is, these studies are concerned with discovering and testing whether certain variables are associated with or not. We can once again take an example that, do more rural people vote for a particular political party than the urban people? We know that this example we can get different answers when we take the people from a rural region and the urban region. Then are students with public school background better placed in jobs than those who had not had this background? So we can diagnostically think on these examples and tell us about the diagnostic research. Then came the very important topic, that is evaluative research. So here we must need the evaluation for the research. So such type of research focuses on evaluation or monitoring of programs or services to determine whether and to what extent they achieve their goals, and whether they do so in the least costly and most expeditious fashion. So evaluation research can also determine whether a program has unintended consequences that are either desirable or undesirable. So here I think I have given the classification of research. How can we classify the research? So I must be expecting one exercise from you, that you should just whenever you get the time, quote the difference between the 4 type of these research we have just explained. So by knowing all these research type, we must be aware, or we must come to a point that what should be the nature of research then. Then here research, as explained earlier, is systematic and critical investigation of a phenomena. It identifies the variables, collects and analyzes the data on such variables to find answers to certain crucial questions. Because whatever, as we have defined the research, anybody want to speak something? I have heard a voice in between. Anyways, all these answers contribute further to increase human knowledge. Then orderliness is the hallmark of research. Research has to have an organic unity. This becomes essential if the knowledge which accrues, that is to increase over a period of time. And we also know the data is increasing and increasing day by day. Various research are coming. So research should be like that. It accrues. So that is to increase over a period of time, and we are due to which we have to find new and newer things in the research. So from research is to be verified for. It must be verifiable by anybody who takes the trouble to do so. In fact, research is considered to be formal, systematic, intensive process of carrying on the systematic method of analysis. It involves a more systematic structure of investigating, usually resulting in some sort of formal record of procedures and result or conclusion. So that is some of the things about the nature of research. So coming to the characteristics of research. So 4 characteristics of research are there. First one is the objectivity, then precision, then design, and then the verifiability. So the major characteristics of any research can be done with all these 4 characteristics. So let us look at these attributes more closely. The first one, that is objectivity. Ideally, research is beyond the subjective bias of the researcher. The researcher makes deliberate effort to eliminate personal preference, resisting the temptation to seek only such data that support his or her hypothesis. Now, when we quote such sentences, the emphasis should be on testing rather than proving the hypothesis. Whenever we take a hypothesis and we are working on that hypothesis, we must not work in the direction to prove that hypothesis. We should have tested the hypothesis whether it is correct or not. The researcher is willing to suspend personal judgment and permit the data and logic to lead independently to a sound conclusion. We must say it should lead to a conclusion. So objectivity is achieved through standardization of research instruments, choosing appropriate research design and analytical tools, and ensuring dependability of the data. So unless and until we can we observe all these things, we cannot test the objectivity. Then second one is the precision. Precision in scientific research is achieved through the uses of statistical method. We know we also or see the people how they utilize the statistical method and statistical analysis to prove their data. And nowadays many techniques are also there. By using those techniques, we are more and more towards we can simply say the technique helps us, and statistical analysis also helps us, or we are coming to a conclusion by means of these things. So as such, research conclusion convey the exact meaning to the reader. For example, measures of central tendency in the statistical method, then variability, correlation, regression, etc., etc. They are the most precise expression in quantitative research, which explains or represents the truth. Precise language describes the study accurately so that the study may be replicated or the result correctly used. Then after objectivity and precision, the third thing comes, that is the design. So in a scientific research, the researcher has to have a very specified design of carrying out the investigation. This will imply that any scientific inquiry will in general undergo the some of the steps, like defining of the problem, how you are going to define the problem. That is a part of design. Then statement of the hypothesis, then collection and analysis of the data. After getting the data, after the collected data, we must test that data and confirmation or rejection of hypothesis is depend on that data. Then after doing all this, we must report the result. As I have earlier said, that we must not keep a bias in our mind. We must report the result. We should not try to prove the hypothesis. Whatever hypothesis is there, if all the data we've gathered, it is supporting the hypothesis, then it is okay. But it is not supporting the hypothesis, then we must report those results. So only if the research has been carried out by using a specified process, it can be replicated for the verification. So all these, then we came to the last one, that is the verifiability. We must verify the things. So this is an important characteristic of every research. So research methods and finding presented to the professional community for other researchers, simply to, we can say, to analyze, confirm, or reject them. Research is a social enterprise and its information is open for public scrutiny. Because whatever research is going on, unless and until it is not open to public, and ultimately we can say whatever research we have done and we came to result, we have published it in the form of thesis, and later words, the if it is not use of the society, of not use of the public, then what is the gist of such research if it is not giving benefit to society? So these characteristics of research, that is verifiability, is related to the criteria of objectivity and precision. Only through further investigation or replication of studies can the results of a single study the confirm or can be confirmed or the revised. So through this process, a body of knowledge is developed and new questions can be identified. So verifiability is achieved primarily through two different approaches. First one is the analyzing the same data on the same sample through alternative analytical tool by using the statistical method, and secondly, replicating the study on a different sample. So that is the these are the four main approaches or more characteristics of the research. Then we came to the type of research. So simply I can say I have divided these into two types. Once again, there is some it is not okay. We will take it. That is the type of research. So simply we can distinguish the type of research into two types. That is research studies may be broadly classified. We can classify namely them as a fundamental or the basic research and the applied research. So two types of research are there. That is the fundamental research and the applied research. It is not working properly. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to explain it. Okay. Let it be. So first one is the fundamental research. So as the name suggests, fundamental means it is the basic. This type of research aim at obtaining the empirical data that can be used to formulate, expand, or evaluate a theory. So this type of research study is not oriented in design or purpose towards the solution of practical problems. Its essential aim is to expand the frontiers of knowledge without any intention of practical application. So that is the fundamental research. Of course, the finding may be eventually applied to practical problem. We must not say that there is no use of such research. So if we are able to do the or or these fundamental research helping us the finding from the fundamental research to solve the practical problem that have social value. For example, we can take the advances in the practice of medicine are dependent upon basic research in biochemistry and microbiology. So that can be helpful. Likewise, progress in rural development has been related to progress in discovery in the general laws of development through basic research in economics and sociology. So the primary concern of basic research or fundamental research, however, is the creation of knowledge solely for the sake of knowledge. Its design is not hampered by considerations of special usefulness of findings. So we must be, as we have already said, we must not be biased. Then came the applied research. So applied research is directed towards the solution of an immediate, specific, and practical problem. So as it is applied, it should be within the concern, or it should be related with something. So this is a research performed in relation to actual problems and under conditions in which they are found in practice. Through applied research, development professionals are often able to solve their problems at the appropriate level of complexity. For instance, we can one more take example that to understand group dynamic in a rural setting, we may depend on basic research for discovering the more general laws of group dynamic operating in the rural setting, but applied research must be conducted in order to determine how these laws operate in the rural setting. So this approach is essential if scientific changes in rural development are to be effected. So how can we do it then? It needs to be noted that there is not always a sharp line of demarcation between basic and applied research. Certainly, applications of theory help in solving practical problems. So we must not leave the theoretical studies. We apply theories of group dynamics in the community. On the other hand, basic research may depend upon the finding of applied research to complete its theoretical formulation. An experiment in group dynamic in a community could shed some light on a group dynamics theory. So that can be an example. Furthermore, if we elaborate the observation in a practical situation, serve to test theories and may lead to the formulation of new theories. So here we once again come. I want to say you researcher that you must elaborate more and more that these two types of research. Describe these two types of research. First one is the fundamental research and second one is the applied research. Meanwhile, I have given some of the question papers from I have received yesterday from Vishal sir, and these question papers, the question is asked many times. What is research? So one more question is there. That is the question simply, that is interdisciplinary research. So what is interdisciplinary research then? First one is the fundamental research, then is the applied research, and the next one is the interdisciplinary research. Now nowadays all the researchers or the supervisors, they are more concentrating towards the interdisciplinary research, or we can simply say it is the need of the time to do the interdisciplinary research. Because many times what happened, the research in a particular field or in a one or two field, they remain limited. They cannot give us a exact idea, or simply we can say not idea. They are not giving us a results. So such results can be obtained with the help of the interdisciplinary research, and these interdisciplinary research can be of any by combining any two fields. Either you are combining the physics and chemistry with the microbiology, zoology, or botany, or we can also combine our scientific research with the social science fields, or with the history. So what history in the sense, it is not the exaggeration. That is, history is also, I know one of the researcher who have, he is basically from the chemistry. We have searched what are the basics in the chemistry lies in the history. What is the history of that particular study, that is dyes, and simply we can say what are the old traditions, all that. So we can say the research can be fundamental, then it can be applied, and it can be the interdisciplinary research. Now we will come to the next one. I'm going to sum up my talk with this. That is, why should I do research? So it should be out of some motivation. Sometimes it is my internal drive, that is of research instead, that is sense of achievement, fulfillment, or some of the curiosity. As we have talked about the children, they are always curious and ask many questions. Then we must have a strong ambition or self expectation that I must do something. Then that is the internal drive. Some external drive is also there, that is by doing research I am getting some degree, diploma. Then by doing these things I may satisfy the parent, teacher, and friend. And something is there, that is I am having the peer pressure. That is, peer pressure means my friends and the others which were associated with me, they are doing something great things, and I must do something. So it is a sense of honor and the responsibility, or simply I want to celebrate a small success by doing the research. So that can be, and all these things have some motivation within it. Then we must know that different types of research are there. That is, we have also elaborated and described some of the research. So some of you may know about the desktop research, which refers to seeking facts, general information on a topic, then historical background, study results, etc., that have been published or exist in public documents. So we can call it as a desktop research. This desktop research can also be elaborated further to find out some new things. Then we can keep one thing, that is the research that is mainly based on interviews and conversations. So many times when we watch the news channels, they always take the interviews of many personalities, either political personalities or some other personalities. They they make some conversation within them, with them. So all these interviews and conversation, it lies a research behind it. So another one, that surveys. So if you want to know what most people in the community think or feel about an issue, either quantitative or qualitative in nature, which can cause and effect or very specific questions. So such surveys help us about to know about the thing. So it depends what type of that survey is there. Then another type of research is, that is investigation, where we are totally focused on to investigate something. So that can be done. Then lastly came the case study. Suppose many researchers, they are more work is doing on the case study. So that can be also a very good area of the research. So simply I can say research is what I am doing when I don't know what I am doing. So it is a very popular phrase given by Van Braun. So we should be very we match ourselves with this term. So to do research, what we should do? We should build a knowledge foundation. We acquire knowledge. So famous phrase is that is standing on the shoulder of giants. So that is always said about that. It means we should look to learn from the major thinkers, workers, and researchers who went before us before developing our own idea. So we must be in the phase of knowing what they have done before. So that's why I'm using that standing on the shoulders of giants. Whatever work they have done before, we must know that work. We must think about the ideas given by them, and to this we have to read. We must read. Then after reading, ultimately we will be updated, and after updating we are more prone towards the research. So simply what how can we select the research topic? Now normally I think the first one is very that your mentor or teacher always assign you the topic and you are going on that topic. So I must tell, so if your mentor or supervisor permits you, don't do this. So tell your supervisor or mentor that I am going to work in this field, इस फलाना फील्ड, ये मुझे ये करना है या मुझे यही करना है सर, ये मेरे दिमाग में बहुत दिनों से है, तो मुझे इस पर काम करना है. So you should take the guidelines from your mentor. So these guidelines help us whenever we are we simply say conceive a idea. So that idea is conceived only when the mentor is giving some guide, because we are not aware as a budding researcher, we may not know the whole things about the problem which we have selected. So in another word, if the mentor or supervisor giving you complete freedom to choose, then it is the real taste. And I think as we also take our example that whatever research we have done before, it was given by our mentor. But now we realize that the mentor should be there, the supervisor should be there. He should check our work, whether the line of work where it is leading. But if the researcher having the freedom to choose the topic, to choose what should be done in the field of research, then though it is a challenge, pick something that interests you and learn more about it. Then and how we can do it, that is the feasibility. अगर आपको करना ही है काम और आप बोल रहे हैं कि आपके सुपरवाइजर ने भी आपको फुल फ्रीडम दिया है, but that proposed work, whether the infrastructure is available with you, then the resources are there or not, and how much time it will take. The timeline is also important, and how much cost, whether the topic you have to it is within your economic abilities, or your economy is supporting it or not. or it is out of your reach. So this feasibility study should be always done by the researcher. So one more thing is there, that is the sustainability. Whatever research we are going to do, whether it is sustainable or not, whether it is having some reproducibility, whether it is having some aspect of the social one, whether it is benefiting the human one, then after completing that research, whether it is generating some money for you, that is the economic point of view, and it is also having some environmental benefit. So that is the sustainability of the research. Then how to plan the research? So that question should be asked to everyone, to yourself. What do you want to do? What do you want to do it? Why it is important? Who has done similar work before? And this one is a very important thing, that if the work is similar, and if it is already covered by one of the researchers before, then you should try to change it, or by doing it another way. So if it is already done, then there is no need to do it one more time. So how are we going to do it? That is also important. And how long it will take, that we have already elaborated, that the timeline should be there. If 5 years are given to you and you are taking all the 5 years to do the research, it is not advisable. So you should complete within 5 years is there, but it is not for you. You should complete it within up to 3 to 4 years. 4 is also something more. So some of the researchers are there who were completed their research. I am not saying to complete that research within the span of time you should do the malpractice. That is not the thing. We will coming to them. That is, you should have originality in your work. Whatever work you are going to do, it should have originality. It should have novelty. You have to some innovations in them. Some analytical aspect should be there. Then it should have some perception building, and some investigative work. And when all these things we are doing, we must check out for the plagiarism.
Sir, sorry, sir. Sorry to disturb you, sir.
Yeah.
सर स्लाइड टाइप्स ऑफ रिसर्च वाली दिख रही है. आई थिंक शेयर नहीं, मतलब चेंज नहीं हुए स्लाइड.
कौन सी चेंज नहीं हुई?
टाइप्स ऑफ रिसर्च पे ही हो क्या सर आप?
एक मिनट है. 1 मिनट. एक मिनट मैं स्टॉप कर रहा हूँ.
ओके सर.
I will once again share the screen. ओके, यहीं पे थे क्या अभी तक?
यस सर, टाइप्स ऑफ रिसर्च ही शो हो रहा था.
Okay. So I have described all these things. Okay, let it be. Feasibility study we have covered, in sustainability, how to plan the research I have just elaborated, and now it is visible.
Yes sir, now it is visible.
So we must do the plagiarism. I'm not talking about the plagiarism, as all of us now know what is the plagiarism. So to plan the research, is it visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
So a goal without a plan is just a wish. We must have a dream that is written down with that become. Normally we join for the research, and later word the feasibility, we normally not test those feasibility. That is the timeline. So we should write when and at what time I am going to achieve that goal. It should be written in somewhere. It is always written in our mind, but we should write down on a paper. So it will always tell us about how much time is there remaining to complete that research. So whenever all that goal, it is broken down into steps. Whenever it become a plan, and a plan backed by action makes your dream come true. So all should be there. So before you start anything, learn how to finish it. So plan is very important. If that plan is not executed in a proper way, then we cannot do the research. So as I have already said, a particular time is given to you, and within that particular time, we must have a plan that how and at how much time I am going to complete my research. So plan is very important, and to execute all these, we must have these 21st century skills, that we must be a critical thinker. Whatever result we are obtaining, we must think of those results, and later what how we are going to present those results. So we must think of it. Then whatever results you are obtained, we must communicate these results, and communicate to whom? The researcher of your, then the supervisor is also there. If you are having collaboration with some of the workers or some of the researchers, then it is also we can say fruitful, that whatever results you have obtained, whether such results they are simply the both that collaborator is doing the same or not, or if he is thinking the result is something different, the same work line, on the same work line he is also working. So that is the collaboration. So what are the latest trend we should also keep in mind, and whatever research we are doing, what is the need of that research. So all these 21st century skills should be there. On the basis of that, we can simply create something different. So that is the success mantra, that is the rule of P6, that is proper prior planning prevents poor performance. So that is the success mantra for the P6. So all these things we are discussing, they came in your mind also, that by doing such things, we have to do a good performance, not good or better or best performance. So we should not, the research should not result into a poor performance. And we must know the resources. So whatever resources are available, it doesn't matter how many resources you have, but if you don't know how to use them, it will never be enough. So we must know the resources and how to utilize them, how to what are the contradictions in them, and by using those resources, you can definitely reach, and by knowing how to use them, you can definitely reach to the something new, something creative at the end of the research. So nowadays student also expects something from the supervisor, that is to read work in advance. आपने आपका काम दे दिया तो फटाक से वो सुपरवाइजर ने पढ़ लेना चाहिए, टू बी अवेलेबल व्हेन इन, जैसे ही मैं फोन करूंगा तो सुपरवाइजर ने वहीं पे मेरे लिए अवेलेबल रहना चाहिए. Then he should be friendly, open and supportive. That should be also expectation from the student. And then he will always constructively critical. That is also expectation. To have a good knowledge of the area. It is not always that, because every researcher, every teacher, and every supervisor, he is whenever we enter into the new field, he is now become a researcher or a student. So he have to read about it. So whenever we want to conceive a new idea, we must read. So by reading, we can get enough knowledge. Then by after reading, we can have the sufficient interest in the topic and can be a role model. So it is not always that your supervisor is a role model. If you are working on the formula given by your supervisor, then he is your role model, because he know all the things, he know how to work in this field further. Then we must be a role model. If our supervisor don't know the things, or if he is also acting like a student, then we must become a role model. And great leader don't tell you what to do, they show you how it's done. So that can be, जैसे हमने बोला कि अगर सुपरवाइजर आपको लिबर्टी दे रहा है वो वर्क करने के लिए, तो आप ढूंढिए उसे। आपने अगर ढूंढा तो सुपरवाइजर को भी आप पे फक्र होगा कि yes, my student is doing something new, and it is also not known to me previously, and now I am also knowing it. So lastly, I must say what important lesson should be taken from the pencil. That is, everything you can do, it should leave a mark. You can always correct your mistake. What important is inside you, not it should not be outside. So I must say that which pencil you like, whether the blunt end pencil or sharpened pencil. So undergo painful sharpening, that will make you better and better. And unless and until we do not sharpen ourselves, the fruitful cannot be come out from us. So that's the things. I must say thanks to all of you who listen very patiently to me. Thank you. I'm stopping my chat. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On the behalf of Research Center and all the research scholars, I am very thankful to you, sir, for giving such a informative and very interesting topic share with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Umesh.
Yeah, he is here. Yeah.
Actually, I am busy in one meeting.
Okay, no problem. I have completed it. I think I have
at college.
to
May I audible to you?
Yeah. You are audible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I must express my gratitude to Dr. Umesh, sir, for giving a very nice and explanatory lecture. In spite, on a very short while, you have ready to give lecture. So on behalf of all the participants and NES Science College Nanded, I very much thankful to Dr. Umesh Kanerkar, sir. And in future also, we need your support. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we will stop here, dear participants. We meet at 3 o'clock for our next session. Okay.